again to another episode of Behind the Chaos. One may even call this episode especially enlightening. As always, I'm your host, both here and on the main show, Emily Campbell. With me today is my sister from another heavenly mister, Isabel.
Truly blessed to be here with you, Emily. Well, for the most part.
I tend to get that a lot. But let's get into it. From the moment your audition tape dropped, you were the talk of the entire cast. How was it coming onto the show and knowing your very existence caused a stir?
Oh, I'm definitely used to it. I mean, as an influencer, you tend to get your fair share of haters. And with being a nun on top of that, I knew what I was getting into.
You sure did. I mean, from the very start, you showed the whole world that you weren't just any nun. You were a cool nun.
I guess you could say I'm not like other nuns. I am of the belief that being religious doesn't mean I have to have a stick up my, well, you know. I can share my love of the Bible and hit a mean gritty online.
So I've noticed. Right out the gate, you meant business, portraying yourself as a sweet, harmless nun, then snagging an immunity idol in only the second episode.
Alliances come and go, but an immunity totem is way too tempting to pass up on. It took a while to use, but all good things come to those who wait.
That said, let's talk about your fellow contestants, starting with your favorite,
Jade?
Anastasia!
Anastasia.
Come on, once upon a time you guys did get along. For an episode or two.
Look, I'll make this short and sweet. I didn't like Anastasia because she bulldozed those around her to get what she wanted. And she eventually got Nat out, which was totally unacceptable.
And all that resentment eventually led to the infamous tiebreaker between Anastasia and Marissa.
Yep, it did. At first, I ignored what Jade said and convinced myself it wasn't a big deal. But then Zayd came into the picture.
And reminded you that even if it was a strategic move, turning it into a highly publicized moment on international TV wasn't that righteous of you.
Yep. It is a game, but I think I wanted to convince myself that it meant people couldn't get hurt by my actions as a result.
But in a shocking twist, you actually apologized to Anastasia. Which, thanks for ruining the moment we were trying to build, by the way.
It's true. I got enjoyment seeing Anastasia upset and crumble. I'm not proud of it, but I know that one evil act doesn't make me an evil person.
So, no more Catholic guilt? Seemed like it was eating away at you for a bit.
Don't let guilt keep you from drawing near to God. You have been cleansed and washed by the blood of Christ. His blood is powerful enough for even your worst sins. Basically, I've accepted that I'll never be a perfect nun. And that's okay. My faith still remains strong, and it's what gives me hope in my darkest of moments. And I'm thankful Jade was there to remind me of that before I left.
Speaking of Jade, let's talk more about said marine biologist.
Finally, I could go on about how great she is and how she definitely deserves a spot in the final.
All right, easy on the campaigning. First things first, you're not upset with her for getting you out?
Game recognizes game, Emily. If I had to take my pick of who I would want to get me out, it would absolutely be Jade.
Like you said yourself. You would be a massive hypocrite to be mad at her for doing so.
Something a lot of other players don't recognize is that you can't take everything personally. Well, I mean, you can, but it doesn't mean you should.
So, even if you weren't besties with Jade and had that beautiful bonding moment that ended with a pan over to a blossoming flower, you still wouldn't have been upset?
Losing still would have stung, 'cause who likes to lose? But I have more going for me outside of the game. From my new convent, followers, to my friendships with Jade and Nat, and the Lord by my side, I'll be just fine.
You know, there's just one thing I gotta ask about. Your past. It seems to be quite the mystery. Every small glimpse we've seen into your life pre-postulancy has been interesting, to say the least.
Wait, pre-postulancy? I figured you'd just say pre-nun life or something.
I'm a professional, Isabel. I do my research, but no dodging. Tell us a little more about the girl behind the veil.
I mean, I was called Freakabelle for a reason. I was a major party girl when I was younger.
Tossing Trevor aside like a rag doll over a margarita kinda solidified that to me. But as you mentioned, you had an ex-boyfriend that didn't seem like the best influence on you.
You can say that. We met when I was younger, and with all the partying we did and substances we did, it was a bit of a blur. It was fun at first, but slowly it started to weigh heavily on not only my body, but soul.
And what crumbled the metaphorical communion wafer?
Waking up hungover at his house and realizing this isn't where I wanted to spend the rest of life doing. Let alone who I wanted to spend my life with. He was a bad influence, but he also didn't care about my well-being.
Seems tough. How did the big man in the sky come into view?
I wouldn't say there was one instance, more like various instances where religion and the Bible provided me comfort. I visited some of my local churches and met some really amazing people. It wasn't easy, but a few years later, and here I am.
Pretty inspiring, actually. Even so, it seems like personality-wise, you're just any other person.
Because I am. At the end of the day, I wanted to win the money just as much as the next guy. I don't feel ashamed for wanting to win a competition I literally signed up for. I literally binge-watched all the seasons, and I'm even mutuals with some past contestants.
Hey, no judgment here. All I'm saying is that through that motivation, you've tended to make your fair share of underhanded strategies.
To that, I'll say this. We were all going to get our hands dirty one way or another, and it was a fact I never hide away from.
So what's next for you, sister?
First of all, a nice, hot shower. Anastasia, being greedy as usual, would never let me use her portable shower. It was so annoying. But then give Nat the biggest hug ever and catch up with her at the motel bar.
And then start the biggest Jade campaign known to man.
And then start the biggest Jade campaign known to man. You're really about to see how good of an influencer I am. Speaking of, don't forget to follow me on all major platforms at Sister Isabel.
No free promo. And with that, join me next time for another episode of Behind the Chaos. Can I get an amen?
Amen.